The last time she walked through that mall, Ava was carrying $25,000 worth of lies on her shoulder. Chanel, Cartier, and Betrayal. Ava had never spent that kind of money before. But that day, she did it for someone she thought she loved. Jared, her boyfriend, had come home looking broken. He told her his company was failing. He looked tired, stressed, and full of shame. Ava believed him. She wanted to help. She had savings, money she'd planned to use for a future home or maybe her own design business. But seeing Jared so defeated, she thought he needed the help more than she did. So she took him shopping. Not just for basics, for luxury. They walked through the upscale mall, stopping at designer stores. She bought him expensive shirts, sneakers, a sleek cologne. When he admired a $5,000 watch, she paid. When he touched the Cartier bracelet and said, "Someday," she made it today. Jared kissed her and said, "You're saving me." By the end of the day, her savings were nearly gone. Her hands were full of shopping bags. Her legs ached, but she felt proud. She thought she had done something good for someone she cared about. That night, everything shattered. She was in the kitchen making tea when she heard Jared talking in the bedroom. He was on FaceTime with someone. She wasn't trying to listen, but when she heard her name, she froze. His voice was light, laughing. "She actually spent 25 grand on me today," he said. "Told her my business was falling apart. She bought it." The woman on the call laughed. "Wow, you're really milking her dry." Ava stood in the hallway silent. Her mug trembled in her hand. She felt her stomach twist, her chest tighten. The tea went cold, forgotten. He had lied. All of it. The business problems, the pain, the need was fake. He had used her. She didn't confront him. Not yet. She spent the night staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment. The way he had smiled in the mall. The way he had acted grateful. It was all a performance. That mall wasn't a place of love or support anymore. It was where she had been fooled, where she had given everything to someone who gave nothing back. Something inside her cracked open. Not just heartbreak, something stronger. She knew the money was gone, but she also knew something else. She wasn't going to let this end quietly. He thought she was soft. He thought she'd never fight back. He had no idea who she really was. Ava sat alone on her couch, her laptop open in front of her. The room was quiet except for the sound of her fingers tapping on the keyboard. Her heart beat faster than usual. She typed in Jared's birthday as the password. She had a strange feeling it might work. When his iCloud account opened, she felt a sharp mix of relief and anger. He never bothered to change his password. She didn't know what she was looking for at first, but it didn't take long to find it. His phone backups were there, messages, apps, photos, everything. She clicked through his data and froze when she saw the apps. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. All active. All logged in. One by one, she opened them. His profiles were full of lies. Self-made businessman, investor, owns 2 condos. Photos of him wearing the watch she bought, standing in front of the car she leased. He was using everything she gave him to impress other women. Her stomach turned. She kept going. Messages filled with flirty lines, dinner plans, empty promises. Some chats were recent, even while he was still telling her he loved her. He told one woman he was single. He told another that he just got out of a toxic relationship. Ava clicked through pictures he sent them, posing in the clothes she had paid for, drinking the wine she had bought. He was living a double life. Then she found the screenshots. He had saved images of her bank account, her credit card details, even a list of things he wanted her to buy for him. He bragged in one message about how easy it was to get women to pay if you knew the right words. Her name was mentioned like she was just a tool. Ava didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stared at the screen. A quiet coldness washed over her. This wasn't just a breakup anymore. This was deeper, bigger. She clicked save and started organizing the files. Messages, images, screenshots, voice notes. She gave each folder a name. She made copies. She backed them up. Every piece of proof, every detail, she kept. She stopped looking at Jared like he was just her ex. Now he was something else. A liar. A scammer. Maybe even worse. She searched deeper and found more messages. Different names. Same tricks. He used the same words with other women. Promises of love, stories about fake problems, hints that he just needed help. Ava realized she hadn't been special. She had been one of many. But that also meant she wasn't alone. She sat back and looked at everything she had collected. She didn't know what she would do yet, but she knew this was just the beginning. Ava was quiet, but she wasn't weak. Now she had the truth, and she planned to use it. Ava sat at the small kitchen table with her best friend, Marla. The air was heavy, and her laptop was open between them. Marla, who worked nights as a bartender and spent her free time playing with tech, listened as Ava told her everything. After Ava showed her the screenshots and messages she had found, Marla didn't even look surprised. "That guy's trash," Marla said. "Let's burn him." Ava didn't want to scream or cry anymore. She wanted to do something smart. She wanted him to feel what she had felt. Hurt. Used. Tricked. So Marla had an idea. Make him fall for someone who didn't exist. They created a fake Instagram profile. The woman they made up was named Lexi. She was rich, beautiful, and popular. Her photos were perfect, borrowed from stock images and fake influencers. Her captions were full of style and luxury. Marla even added short videos, pretending Lexi was traveling or shopping. Everything looked real. Ava used the new profile to follow Jared. Within an hour, he followed back. It started with a like, then a comment, then a message. "Hey, I like your vibe." Ava, as Lexi, waited a day before answering. She played it cool, just enough interest to pull him in. Jared didn't hold back. He flirted, complimented, and acted charming. He had no idea it was Ava typing back. Days passed. Jared kept talking to Lexi more and more. He told her he was single. He said he was an investor looking for someone who understood his goals. He even asked to meet. Ava kept the conversation going, slowly offering hints that Lexi could help him with money, if she could trust him. He told Lexi about fake business plans. He bragged about his network. Ava listened to it all, pretending to be impressed. Each message was saved. Screenshots were taken. She recorded his voice notes too, full of fake promises and lies. Ava couldn't believe it. He was cheating on her with her. All it took was a pretty face and the promise of money, and he was ready to jump ship. All the love he claimed to have for Ava meant nothing. He was already planning a new future, with a woman who didn't even exist. He even tried to meet Lexi at a hotel. He offered to bring wine and gifts, hoping for a chance to pitch his fake business. Ava didn't go, of course. But she sent one last message from Lexi. "Send me a video telling me why I should trust you." Jared sent it right away. In the video, he smiled and spoke about honesty, loyalty, and how he was so done with fake people. Ava saved it too. By now, she had a full folder. Photos, messages, voice memos, videos. All from Jared, all full of lies. It was her collection, her proof. Not just of betrayal, but of the kind of man he truly was. Marla looked through the files and laughed. He fell for his own game. Ava didn't smile. She just nodded. It wasn't funny to her. It was sad. He had no idea what was coming next. Jared thought he had it all under control. He believed he was talking to a rich woman who wanted to meet him in person. He made a plan for a weekend at a fancy hotel, hoping to impress her and maybe walk away with more money. He had no idea that the woman he thought he was meeting didn't exist. He also didn't know that Ava had already booked the hotel room right next to his. Ava arrived early. She checked in quietly and went straight to her room. She had everything she needed, a small recorder and a parabolic mic that Marla borrowed from a podcast studio. The mic could pick up sound through the wall. Ava had tested it earlier, and it worked better than she expected. She sat on the bed, her hands shaking slightly, and waited. Soon, she heard the door next door open. It was Jared. He walked around the room, talking to himself, and then speaking into his phone. He believed he was leaving a voice message for the fake woman. Ava hit record. Jared talked and talked. He laughed to himself. He bragged about the hotel room and how he booked it just to show off. Then he said things that made Ava feel cold all over. "She was so easy to control," he said. "I told her my business was falling apart, and she pulled out her savings like it was nothing. Financially desperate and emotionally stupid." He laughed again. Ava's hand tightened around the recorder. "She thought she was special," Jared continued. "I've done this before. You just tell them what they want to hear. Cry a little, act tired, and boom, they throw money at you." He kept going. He spoke about how many women he had tricked, how simple it was. Ava listened to every word. She stayed still, silent. She let the recorder collect it all. Every lie, every cruel comment, every name he mentioned. When he paused, he started speaking again, this time about plans for Lexi. He said he hoped to charm her, maybe even marry her, if it meant getting access to more money. He said Ava was boring now. She gave everything already. "She's dry," he said. "Lexi's next." The recording lasted almost 20 minutes. Ava didn't move until she heard him leave the room. She stopped the recorder and sat back on the bed. She felt like she couldn't breathe for a moment. But then the feeling passed. She had everything she needed. She didn't have to guess anymore. He wasn't just a liar. He was proud of it. He had no guilt. No shame. He didn't just use her. He laughed about it. Now Ava had his own words saved. Not twisted. Not edited. Just the truth. And when the time came, she would let the world hear it. Ava found out about the credit card by chance. It was a joint account, but she had never signed up for it. Jared had opened it using her name and details without asking. He never told her. At first, Ava felt shocked and confused. Then the shock turned into anger. He had already taken her money and lied to her, and now he was building debt under her name. She called the bank to check the account. Her name was on it, which meant she had full access. Jared must have thought she would never find out, but she did. Instead of staying silent, Ava made a decision. If he wanted to use her name without asking, then she would use the card her way. She started using it carefully. First, she booked spa treatments, expensive ones. She didn't go to them herself. She just wanted the charges on the card. Then she began to order strange things and had them sent to Jared's house. One day, a huge inflatable unicorn showed up at his door. Another day, a dozen boxes of glitter arrived, packed tightly and marked urgent. Neighbors saw it all. Some laughed. Some were annoyed. Jared was embarrassed. She sent flowers too big, over-the-top ones. Each bouquet came with a card. One said, "Missing last night already." Another said, "Here's to our secret wedding." These messages made no sense but created lots of noise. The building staff had to deal with the delivery. Jared had to explain nothing he could explain. Then Ava went a step further. She set up a monthly donation from the card. The amount was $666, and it went to a well-known Satanist group. She wasn't part of the group and didn't care about the meaning. She only wanted to make him explain that charge to the bank or anyone who might see the bill. It was her small joke, dark and simple. But Ava wasn't acting out of emotion. She was smart. She kept every receipt. Every order, every flower, every charge, she saved them all. She had screenshots, emails, tracking numbers, and printed bills. Everything was kept in one folder on her laptop. If Jared ever tried to say she had stolen or misused the card, she would show the truth. The card was in her name. She had every right to see what was being done with it. Jared had used her name and credit without asking. Ava used it back, but with records. She didn't hide anything. She knew she had to stay careful. This wasn't just payback. It was also protection. Soon, the bank started to notice the strange charges. Jared noticed too. He called her, yelling and blaming. Ava didn't lose her temper. She reminded him that he had opened the account in her name. She told him she had proof. If he pushed, she would go legal. He didn't call again. The card was shut down later. Ava asked the bank to remove her name. She also shared her folder of proof. She wasn't going to let this ruin her. She had already lost too much. This time, she stayed ahead. And Jared? His credit score dropped, and the bills kept coming. She returned to the same mall where everything had started. Months ago, she walked through those shiny floors carrying bags full of expensive gifts. Now, she came back with something else, truth. She didn't come to shop. She came to show what had been done to her. A small booth was rented near the center of the mall. It looked like a display for a new fashion brand. The sign read Ego Drop, simple and clean. People passing by stopped to look. The booth had bright screens, clean posters, and a quiet energy. It didn't sell anything, but it told a story. On the screens were screenshots of messages. Some were long, some were short. There were text conversations, pieces of dating app chats, and quotes from private messages. Faces were blurred, names were hidden, but the words were clear. People paused to read. They saw lies, cheating, and fake promises. They saw someone using another person's money to impress strangers online. A few laughed in disbelief. Others took out their phones to record. Some whispered to their friends while pointing at the screen. One poster said, "This is what betrayal looks like." Another read, "Not fashion, just the truth in full color." She stood nearby, quiet, letting the booth speak for her. There was no shouting, no signs of hate. Just proof. Real proof. Carefully collected, clearly displayed. She didn't need to say his name. The story was loud enough without it. The videos people took spread fast. Within a few hours, the booth was all over TikTok. Comments began pouring in. Strangers wrote about their own hurt. Some thanked the display for saying what they never could. Others just wanted to know who had done this and why. The mall started to get crowded around the booth. People walked in from other sections just to see it. Some took selfies beside the screens. Some even cried. Security guards came after a while. They asked questions, looked at the display, and finally said it needed to be taken down. It was causing too much attention. Too many people were stopping. But it was already too late. The videos had spread. The hashtag #EgoDrop was trending. Thousands were watching, talking, sharing. What started as one quiet booth had turned into a national story. When the screens were finally turned off and the booth was packed away, people still stood around. They talked about what they saw. They shared their own stories. The truth had already traveled too far to stop. She walked out of the mall without looking back. She hadn't come to destroy. She came to be heard. And now she was. He found the display. It didn't take long. The videos had gone viral. People were tagging, sharing, and laughing. His words were out in the open, and he couldn't hide. The messages, the screenshots, the things he thought were private, they were all public now. He panicked. He started making calls. Angry messages followed. He used different numbers. He sent long texts full of blame. He told stories that weren't true. He said she had set him up. He tried to scare her. But she was ready. The messages were saved. The calls were recorded. Nothing he said could be taken back. When that didn't work, he showed up. He went to her workplace, loud and shaking with rage. He didn't expect anyone to stop him. But they did. Her co-workers had seen everything online. They knew the truth. Some had disliked him from the beginning. Now they had proof. They didn't yell or fight. They pulled out their phones. They recorded every word. His shouting, his excuses, his anger. It was all caught on video. He tried to push his way past them. Security was called. He was told to leave the building. His face was red. His voice cracked. He left, but not quietly. He told people he was the victim. He went online, made posts, and told a different story. He said he was being harassed, that someone was trying to ruin his life for fun. But the comments didn't support him. People replied with screenshots. They posted video clips. They reminded him what he had done. The more he talked, the worse it got. Every lie brought more proof from others. More people came forward. The things he said didn't match what people saw. His posts were downvoted. His account was reported. His name became a joke in comment sections. Then more came out. A file appeared online. It had details about his job history. But something wasn't right. The places he said he worked didn't check out. The schools he listed weren't in their records. Someone had leaked his resume. It looked impressive, but it wasn't real. It spread quickly. Soon, people were tagging his company. They asked questions. They shared proof. A few days later, the company made a statement. He no longer worked there. His position was removed from their website. Quietly, he was gone. He tried to move to new platforms, but it didn't help. The name followed him. The screenshots followed him. His reputation kept sinking. Every time he tried to speak up, someone shared the old messages again. He didn't understand how fast things could fall apart. He thought he could control the story. But the story was out of his hands. She didn't post anything new. She didn't have to. The truth was already loud. All she did was wait. And everything else fell on its own. He thought a lawsuit would fix everything. He believed if he blamed her in court, people would stop listening to her and feel sorry for him. He said his life was ruined, his job was gone, and his name was all over the internet. He blamed her for all of it. He filed a defamation case, hoping to scare her into silence. But she didn't panic. She didn't back down. She had been waiting for this. Quietly, she prepared everything. She printed pages and pages of messages. She saved every photo, email, receipt, and voice recording. Nothing was missing. She organized it all in folders with dates and short notes. Every step of the way, she had kept proof. The day of court came. He walked in with a suit and a sad face. He spoke like a victim. He said she had lied, that she had ruined his name for attention. He said everything she posted online was fake. He asked for money and an apology. Then she stood up. Calm, clear. She handed the judge a box. Inside were all her records. She didn't say much at first. The files spoke for her. The judge started reading. One by one, the messages showed the truth. The screenshots matched the dates. The voice recordings were played. Everyone in the room heard his words. There were laughs, gasps, and whispers in the courtroom. The judge looked through each folder with care. At the end, he set the papers down and looked straight at him. He didn't look pleased. The judge said it was some of the most complete personal evidence he had ever seen. There was no confusion. The story was clear. The damage she showed was real. The lies he told were undeniable. Then something happened he didn't expect. She filed a countersuit. She claimed he had committed fraud, using her money, opening credit in her name without asking, and causing emotional harm. Her side was strong. Her proof was real. The court allowed it. He tried to speak again, but no one believed him anymore. His words didn't matter. His expression changed. His shoulders dropped. He looked like someone who knew it was over. When the judge gave the final word, the courtroom reacted. Some clapped quietly. Some smiled. She didn't cheer. She just nodded once and gathered her papers. Her job was done. He walked out with nothing. No win, no money, no power. The same truth he tried to bury had now been confirmed in court. The damage he caused was finally given a name: fraud. She walked out with her head high. Not just for herself, but for everyone who had been tricked like she had. She didn't win with revenge. She won with proof. And this time, he couldn't lie his way out. Everything didn't stop after the courtroom. More people began to hear what had happened. Articles were written, posts were shared, and soon, her experience reached a wider audience. She was offered a chance to speak out and explain everything from the beginning. This time, she spoke with strength and purpose. She accepted one offer from a large platform. The money she received wasn't wasted. She used it to build something helpful. With it, she created a support group. It was made for people who had been used, tricked, or left in debt by someone they trusted. Many joined, sharing pain they had never spoken about before. They felt less alone. She wanted to do more. So she started a podcast. She named it Love Scammed. It gave people a voice. Every episode focused on signs to look out for, how to heal after being lied to, and how to rebuild life. Some episodes had guests, some were just her. Thousands began to listen. Some laughed, some cried, but all learned something. Her words helped others. Messages from strangers filled her inbox, thanking her. What once brought her shame now gave her strength. She had turned pain into power. He, on the other hand, tried to start again online. He opened new accounts and called himself a business expert. He said he could help people grow money and confidence. But the internet didn't forget. His name was still tied to everything he had done. He began trying to sell online classes about crypto and self-improvement. Most people didn't take him seriously. Others left comments reminding him of the past. Screenshots of his new dating profile were shared and laughed at. Memes were made. He became a joke online. He still avoided the truth. He didn't say sorry. He blamed others. But no one was listening. His fake charm didn't work anymore. She didn't respond to any of his new efforts. She stayed focused on what she had built. Her time was spent helping others grow stronger, not giving attention to someone who tried to destroy her. Each day, she worked with people who had gone through similar pain. Each message she read reminded her that what she had built mattered. What once left her feeling small now helped others feel seen. He lost the trust of the public. She gained the trust of a community. He chased attention. She gave support. He tried to sell fake advice. She gave real help. She didn't just survive. She rose. And while he struggled to fix the image he broke himself, she became someone people looked up to. Not because she was perfect, but because she was real. Several months passed before she returned. The building looked familiar. Bright lights, polished floors, glass storefronts. Music floated through the air, soft and steady. Shoppers moved without worry, carrying bags, laughing, chatting. Nothing seemed changed, yet everything felt different. No need for purchases this time. No cards. No bags. No purpose except quiet closure. Past memories waited at every corner. Each sign, each scent reminded her of what once happened. But instead of sadness, she felt calm. She passed brand names that once emptied her bank account. Each one had played a part in something painful. Now they held no value, not to her. There was no rush in her steps. No pressure. No weight. She stopped in front of a display. Mannequins wore shiny outfits behind clean glass. Once those things made her feel loved. Now they looked hollow. Near the fountain, a girl held hands with her partner. They smiled, pointing at something across the way. The moment looked sweet, almost perfect. Something inside her shifted. Not anger. Not jealousy. Just instinct. She walked up slowly. The girl looked surprised but didn't pull away. In a calm voice, she leaned closer and said, "Check his phone." No extra words. No explanation. Just 5 that could change everything. She walked off before hearing a reply. It didn't matter. The choice belonged to someone else now. Sunlight poured in through the glass ceiling as she reached the exit. The air outside felt warmer, freer. Not once did she look back. Not at the girl. Not at the fountain. Not at the place where her trust had once been broken. Every step forward felt right. She had nothing to carry anymore. No shame. No regret. No desire to hurt. No need to fix. She had faced betrayal. She had taken control. She had survived the worst parts. And then she had turned the page. Now the past couldn't touch her. Her voice had reached others. Quietly, powerfully. Her actions had spoken louder than any post ever could. Even without attention, her journey echoed. One warning. One step. One moment of courage. That was enough. And somewhere in that giant space filled with names and prices and noise, a woman walked away. Not with bags or guilt, but with peace. If Ava's journey moved you, don't just scroll, share it. Let others witness true strength. Tag someone who needs the reminder. Pain doesn't define you. Power comes from rising, not breaking. Follow for more voices that turn betrayal into boldness. Because real queens don't beg, they rebuild.